Did you know that some of the most enchanting gardens thrive away from the sun's full glare? Picture a tranquil oasis where lush ferns sway gently in a soft breeze, and vibrant hostas line serene garden paths. This is the world of shade gardens. These unique spaces, hidden from the sun's full intensity, are home to a rich tapestry of shade-loving plants, each contributing to a captivating landscape of color and texture. Join us to discover how you can illuminate the shaded corners of your garden, transforming them into breathtaking landscapes. Before we delve into the world of shade gardening, it's important to understand what we mean by shade. In gardening parlance, shade refers to areas that receive less sunlight due to obstructions like buildings, trees, or other landscape elements. But it's not a one-size-fits-all term. There are actually 4 different shades of shade. Let's start with light shade. This is an area that enjoys bright but indirect light for most of the day. Imagine a spot under a tree with a high, thin canopy. The sunlight filters through, but it's diffused, creating a soft, dappled effect. Light shade is a plant paradise, providing a gentle environment for many types of foliage. Next, we have partial shade. This refers to areas that are shaded for part of the day, usually during the afternoon when the sun is at its peak. If your garden has a spot that basks in the morning sun but becomes a cool retreat in the afternoon, that's partial shade. It's a great place for plants that enjoy a bit of both worlds, sun and shade. Full shade, as the name suggests, is an area that remains in shadow for most of the day. However, it does receive some indirect light. Picture a north-facing garden or a spot under a dense tree. Full shade can be challenging, but with the right plants it can become a lush, tranquil sanctuary. Lastly, we have deep shade. This is the shadiest of all shades, areas that see little or no direct sunlight throughout the day. Underneath thick shrubs or next to high walls are typical deep shade locations. It can be a tough spot for many plants, but there are still beautiful options that can thrive in these conditions. Now that we understand the different types of shade, let's explore the plants that love living in these conditions. Believe it or not, many plants thrive in shade and can add color and texture to your garden. It's all about knowing which ones to choose for your unique environment. Take ferns, for instance. These ancient plants have been around since prehistoric times. They love the cool, moist conditions that shade provides and come in an array of shapes and sizes. From the delicate maidenhair fern to the robust ostrich fern, their feathery fronds can add a touch of elegance to any shady spot. Then there's the versatile hosta. With its lush, vibrant foliage, the hosta is a real workhorse in the shade garden. These plants come in many varieties, with leaves ranging from deep green to variegated yellow and white. Some even produce lovely, fragrant flowers. Bleeding hearts are another shade-loving favorite. Their unique heart-shaped flowers dangle from arching stems, creating a dramatic effect. They're perfect for adding a pop of color to your garden in the spring. Astilbes are also a great choice. Their feathery plumes rise above fern-like foliage in a range of colors from white to pink to red. They can really light up those darker corners of your garden. When choosing plants for your shade garden, consider the type of shade you have. Is it light, partial, full, or deep shade? Different plants have different light requirements, so make sure to pick those that will thrive in your specific conditions. For example, if you have deep shade, you might want to opt for plants like lungwort or Solomon's seal. If you have light shade, you might consider plants like columbine or hydrangea. Also, remember to consider the mature size of the plants. You don't want to overcrowd your garden or have larger plants overshadowing the smaller ones. In addition, consider the plant's other needs, such as soil type, moisture level, and hardiness zone. All these factors will influence how well your plants will do in your garden. Choosing the right plants is just the start. Let's look at how soil and moisture play a crucial role in shade gardening. In shade gardening, managing soil and moisture correctly can make all the difference. The type of soil in your garden plays a crucial role in determining which plants will thrive. For example, ferns and hostas prefer rich, well-drained soil, while mosses and lichens can withstand more acidic conditions. If your soil is heavy clay or sandy, don't despair. You can amend it with organic matter like compost or well-rotted manure to improve its structure and fertility. This not only enhances the soil's ability to retain moisture but also introduces beneficial microorganisms that help plants grow strong and healthy. Speaking of moisture, it's important to remember that even shade-loving plants need water. However, because shaded areas receive less evaporation-inducing sunlight, they retain moisture longer, so overwatering can lead to soggy soil and root rot. Always check the soil's moisture level before watering and adjust your watering schedule according to seasonal changes. With the right soil and moisture management, your shade garden is set for success. Now let's talk about design. Designing a shade garden is an opportunity to get creative. You can turn any dark corner into a lush green oasis. So let's delve into the art of designing a shade garden. Start by assessing your space. How much shade does it get? Is it a small patch under a tree or an extended area along a fence? These factors will influence your garden design. The key to designing a shade garden is to play with layers and textures. Consider incorporating a mix of low-growing ground covers, medium-sized shrubs, and tall trees. This creates a multi-dimensional effect, adding depth and interest to your garden. Next, consider your plant's foliage. Shade-loving plants often have large, lush leaves that can add a dramatic touch to your garden. Think of plants like hostas, ferns, or astilbe. Their leaves come in a variety of colors and textures, from glossy and vibrant to soft and feathery. Now let's talk about color. Yes, shade gardens can burst with color too. While many shade plants are known for their greenery, some produce flowers in a range of hues. Try adding a splash of color with plants like bleeding hearts or foxgloves. They'll light up your garden with their vibrant blooms. Remember, a shade garden is not just about plants. You can also include garden elements like stepping stones, benches, or a bird bath. These elements can enhance the beauty of your garden, creating a serene and inviting space. Lastly, think about light. Even in a shade garden, there's some light. Notice where it falls at different times of the day. Then, place your plant strategically to catch those fleeting rays of sunlight. It will illuminate the leaves, creating a stunning display of light and shadow. Designing a shade garden requires careful planning and a bit of creativity, but the result is worth it. Imagine stepping into a cool, tranquil garden, filled with lush greenery and beautiful blooms. It's your own little sanctuary, away from the hustle and bustle of the world. A well-designed shade garden is a sight to behold. But how do we maintain it? A thriving shade garden requires regular care and attention. Let's start with the planting process. Choose a cool, overcast day to minimize the stress on your new plants. Dig a hole twice as wide as the root ball and just as deep. Place your plant in the hole, making sure the top of the root ball is level with the soil surface. Backfill with soil, firm it gently, and water thoroughly. Throughout the growing season, keep a keen eye on your shade-loving plants. They typically require less water than their sun-loving counterparts, but this doesn't mean they can be neglected. Water them when the top inch of soil feels dry to the touch. As autumn approaches, consider applying a layer of mulch to protect the roots from winter chill. Come spring, a light application of balanced, slow-release fertilizer will give your plants a boost. Armed with these tips, you're well on your way to creating a beautiful shade garden. But what if problems arise? Gardening isn't always smooth sailing. Sometimes we encounter problems. Even the most experienced gardeners face challenges, particularly when managing shade gardens. Let's delve into some common issues and explore practical solutions. One frequent issue is pest infestations. Slugs and snails, for instance, are attracted to the cool, damp conditions of shade gardens. A simple yet effective solution is to use organic deterrents like crushed eggshells or copper tape to keep these critters at bay. Next, let's discuss plant diseases. Fungal infections are common in shaded, moist areas. To combat this, ensure your garden has good air circulation and avoid overwatering your plants. If an infection does occur, organic fungicides can help control the spread. Remember, prevention is better than cure. Regularly inspect your plants for signs of pests or disease, and act promptly at the first sign of trouble. With these troubleshooting tips, you're ready to tackle any challenge that comes your way. Creating a shade garden is a rewarding journey that transforms your outdoor space into a haven of tranquility. Picture yourself strolling through a lush array of ferns and hostas, their vibrant hues popping against the cool, shadowy backdrop. Imagine the sense of achievement as you watch your garden flourish, becoming a testament to your creativity and diligence. Now it's your turn to light up the dark. Apply these tips and techniques to create your own shade garden oasis. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share for more gardening insights.